patterns. Let's take a look firstly at the redrum drum computer. Now, redrum has a step sequencer built into it, which can be programmed by selecting a sound slot and then programming your pattern up to 64 steps in length. So I'll repeat this for additional sound slots until I have a basic pattern. Now I'll switch to my second pattern and program in a different beat. You'll see that you can have up to 32 patterns in 4 banks of 8. Now by default, this pattern will start playing as soon as the transport is running. So to control when the pattern plays and which pattern is playing, you can either alternate and click on the pattern area to create an automation lane, or alternatively, with the sequencer track selected, you could choose Create Pattern Lane. Now when the transport is running, there's no pattern playing, as the pattern lane is empty. So I can temporarily activate the pencil tool by holding Alternate, and then draw in new pattern blocks. I can also select which pattern is playing by using the drop-down menu. The thin black line also shows you where the pattern repeats, and pattern clips can be resized, as well as split. With a pattern clip selected, you can also use the info bar to set a pattern offset, which is set in bars, quarter notes, sixteenths, and ticks. This could be useful for creating quick variations or setting a pattern slightly off the grid. Also notice that when you split pattern clips using the razor tool, the offset is set automatically. Now redrum has its sequencer built in, where other devices function as standalone sequencers that need to be connected to an instrument in order to produce sound. So you can see I've got my subtractor synth here, and then I'll go to Utilities in the browser and drag in the Matrix pattern sequencer. If we look at the back of the rack, you'll see that 2 special connections have been made, Gate and Note CV. Gate tells the instrument when to play, and CV, or on some devices Note or Pitch, will tell it at what pitch to play. Now, as with the redrum, if I press play, the matrix will output gate and CV automatically. So first of all, let's edit this pattern to be a little bit more interesting and musical. And then, as with redrum, I can either alt-click the pattern area, or in the sequencer, press Create Pattern Lane. And then, as before, just draw in new pattern blocks. And of course, splitting and pattern offsetting works in the same way. An alternative to automating pattern playback is to send the pattern to a MIDI track. To do that, first select the sequencer track that you want the MIDI to go on, and then with a pattern selected, right-click the device and choose Copy Pattern to Track. Now I can delete the pattern block so that no pattern is programmed in, and it'll play back using conventional MIDI. Some third-party player devices in the rack store also make use of pattern lanes. For more information on players and how to add them, you can check out the Working with Players chapter, as well as the reference chapter for the player devices themselves. So this seems like a good place to stop before we move on to the next chapter.